get up and slowly march off of here, away from those men with the guns. Take it easy now. Keep the guns down.
Are they going to shoot us if we're sitting here?
13 seconds of gunfire that seemed to last an eternity. I mean, I can hear the gunfire right now. I just couldn't conceive of them firing weapons. Nobody thought that something like that was going to happen.
If you don't disperse right now, they're going to move in. Would you please listen to me? Jesus Christ, I don't want to be a part of this!
I know exactly where I was in every single one of these pictures. And this is probably the picture that best illustrates where I was. And so I was right here when all the shootings took place. My name is Doug Guthrie, and I was a student at Kent State University in 1970.
Who's afraid of democracy? There's a crisis on in the country about democracy, and
it was at the height of the Vietnam War, and I was a student protester. April 30th was a turning point in the protest movement.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
President Nixon announced that they were expanding the Vietnam War into Cambodia.
I have concluded that the time has come for action.
That was so upsetting and disturbing at the time that really activated many people. That Saturday evolved into later on protests at the ROTC building. And those protests resulted in the building being set on fire. As a result of that, that evolved into the National Guard being drawn into the community. On Sunday, they were there in full force, which was very surrealistic. And the soldiers had M1 guns with bayonets on the end. And the governor was all over the television saying, we're going to eradicate these problem students.
They're the worst type of people that we harbor in America. And I want to say that they're not going to take over a campus.
It was all a bunch of BS. And that just further angered people. And when you have anger, uncontrolled anger, these sorts of things can happen. Monday, which was May 4th, the call was Rally on the Commons. And it didn't take long before the National Guard came up and said, we've now declared martial law, you must disperse or we're going to open fire with tear gas.
Leave this area immediately.
Which is exactly what they did within 5 minutes. So they forced us up over the hill, out of the common area, and then before you knew it, opened fire. Everybody turned around and ran, myself included, dove to the ground, and then I started hearing moans. One guy next to me said, I've been shot. And that's when, excuse me, I told you, I get emotional when I talk about this because it's a difficult situation. I walked a few feet to the parking lot where I found my friend Sandy lying in a pool of blood. She had been shot in the neck and, with an M1 rifle, which is hollow tip bullets, and so it does a lot of damage and destruction. The immediate news that came out was the students started this, the Guard were responding to gunfire coming from the students. That was all bullshit. It was when my parents finally picked me up to take me home. Wonderful parents, salt of the earth, but also very conservative. And they asked me what happened. I explained to them, and they were listening to the news, and this happened, that happened. I said, that's a lie. None of those things happened. I was there, I know. And one of the hardest things was my father started to pull off the road and throw me out of the car. Yeah, that was hard to take. What triggered my letter to the editor of the LA Times is I have a son who's a senior in college in the UC system, and he called me experiencing all the sort of anger and unrest, and he had friends who had been tear gassed, and it just really, it reminded me of all the things I went through. at basically the same age. And you would think after over 50 years of a piece of history at Kent State that people would respond differently and better and to incidents like this, and they have to know that violence just begets more violence. Hopefully some real positives can come out of these current protest movement. Maybe this will help cause some hard decisions to be made and get on a path to resolving this conflict.